Welcome to Meldon Law and Friends. I'm Jeffrey Meldon, founder and attorney at Meldon Law, and we want to welcome you to this week's episode featuring one of our own attorneys, Neal Gambler, who is going to talk about his experiences working for both the insurance industry and for plaintiffs, meaning folks that are hurt in accidents and how they differ. It's going to be a really interesting conversation to kind of get both sides of the story. A lot of things going on in North Central Florida. World Equestrian Center is rocking and rolling. This is the time of the year when it's warmer down here and colder up in Kentucky. So all the horse fans are excited about all the activities going on in and around the World Equestrian Center, which is now the world capital for horse people. And it's very exciting for Marion County. A couple other things. Our beloved Gator basketball team has strung together 3 wins in a row and are now right on the cusp of getting into March Madness and need a couple more good wins in order to elevate themselves. I went to the game last Saturday, and we played Georgia, which is always a big rivalry, and it was a sold-out crowd. We were very excited. The Gators played great. They went off. They took a 21-point lead, and somehow, in the second, towards the last part of the second half, that lead evaporated to 0, and the Gators had to go into overtime because the game ended in a tie score, and I think it was 85-85, and by the time they were done, the Gators won it in overtime. The Gators have had a couple games now where they got big leads and then gave them back. So I'm sure that our great coach, Todd Golden, is going to work on that with the team. We got Kentucky coming up and Texas A&M and a lot of very good basketball programs. So pay attention. If you want free tickets to Gator basketball games, just go to our Meldon Law Facebook page, and we're giving away great seats, and you can enjoy seeing the Gator basketball team at home and have a great time. Also, we've got gymnastics. I went to the gymnastics event last Friday night. We played a great Alabama team, and the Gators scored their highest total of the season. Unfortunately, so did Alabama, and they wound up winning the meet by 0.15 points, which is not a whole lot, but it was like 197.4 to 197.55. I mean, really, really tight. It came down to the last routine to determine whether or not we'd win the event. For those of you that have never gone to a gymnastics event, they're always sold out. They're exciting. It's like going to the Olympics. These girls are awesome as far as their talent, and we're very lucky. The Gators came in second in the country last year, almost won it, lost by 1/10 of a point. So let's surround ourselves around these great Lady Gators who really put on a terrific show. We're giving away gymnastic seats. Let's see, February 9th is the next home meet with Arkansas. And we've got free tickets, including Gators swag, to go to the game with. We sat next to the winners last week and had a blast. Really a very good time, and we want everybody to embrace the Gator gymnastic team. If you can't go in person, they're usually on the SEC network, so check it out. A couple other things. We are really excited about our Ocala office and everything that's going on in Marion County. We want to invite everyone to come and visit, and we always have free swag for our friends that come and visit. So hang out. We're at 1326 South Pine Avenue, right in the middle of Ocala on 441. A couple other things. Meldon Law is very proud to be able to help our community as far as representing folks with serious injuries that are due to the negligence or the carelessness of somebody else. You can always give us a call at 352-373-8000 or go to meldonlaw.com. One of the things that we're really excited about is our focus in on delivering the Ritz-Carlton experience for our clients. It's very frustrating for folks that have been injured to deal with the insurance companies. My daughter was recently in an accident with her kids, my grandkids. Luckily, they weren't injured. However, what a pain in the butt just to try to get her car fixed, to get a rent-a-car, to go through all the rigmarole that the insurance companies put you through. And in the event that you have an accident or a friend or family member does, send them our way. We'll make the process easy. We have dedicated members on our team that help you with the most uncomfortable parts of a case, which is oftentimes just getting your car fixed. If you're seriously injured, then that makes it even worse. So we understand what you're going through, and if you have a case now and you want our advice, it's free. All you have to do is give us a call at Meldon Law, and we'll be glad to evaluate your case, give you feedback, find out what rights you have in the case, what if you need medical attention, who's going to pay for it. If you need help with getting your car fixed, we'll advise you on that. There's a lot of things that we do on a day-to-day basis that just help people who are really aggravated because, a lot of times they're standing at a stop sign and somebody makes a bonehead move and slams into their back, the back end of their car, demolishes their car, and people are going, why am I, the innocent victim, having to do all this work? We cut that part of the challenge out, and we take it on ourselves. So please give us a call at Meldon Law, 352-373-8000, and we will deliver a classic, top-notch client experience for you. Anyhow, we're going to take a short break here, and we'll be back on Law Talk with Jeffrey Meldon.
Jeffrey, what are you doing?
Well, I'm joining the band, of course. Since Meldon Law is the official law firm partner of the Florida Gators, I want to help.
Dad, we're litigators. Let's stick to helping people in the courtroom.
Well, can we still hang out and jam a little bit? At Meldon Law, we won't back down.
I was going down a one-way street and a girl that was driving her car T-boned me on my scooter. I ended up going for an MRI and discovering that I had 2 herniated discs. Coming to Cary allowed me to not have to worry about what doctor I was going to see or what physical therapist I had to go to. They say, these are the people we trust. You're going to have a great experience there, and I honestly did each time.
Call Meldon Law. Your consultation is absolutely free.
I was driving behind a lady, and very suddenly she moved out of the way. There was a log laying in the road, and when I hit my brakes, I went on top of the log. I had 2 herniated discs. I just haven't been the same since. Jeffrey Meldon fought for me all the way. Him and his team really went there for me. Throughout the whole lawsuit, he made sure that my bills was paid. It was never no whenever I called him and asked him for something.
Call Meldon Law right now.
And I was in an accident. Someone ran a red light and hit me, and I was hurt. You don't know where to turn. Luckily, I called Jeffrey. These big insurance companies, they don't want you to win. They truly don't. But Jeffrey and his firm and the people that work here, they just really fight for you. You call the law offices of Jeffrey Meldon because you're going to need help, and they will help you.
Call Meldon Law right now.
Hey, Sammy, look who's there. Say hi.
Hey!
You again.
Meldon Law, Jeffrey speaking.
Somebody else hit us here.
Here we go again. Welcome back to Meldon Law and Friends. I'm Jeffrey Meldon, founder and attorney at Meldon Law, and it's my honor and privilege to have one of our great lawyers who's in our Ocala office with us, Neal Gambler. How are you doing today, Neal?
I'm doing well, Jeffrey. How you doing?
Good. So, Neal, I wanted to talk a little bit about your background and how you wound up in Marion County.
Okay. So I grew up in a military family. My dad was a career Air Force non-commissioned officer. He was actually attached to NATO for most of his career. So during the Cold War, we pretty much ended up at a lot of the hot spots during the Cold War, which was a very interesting experience growing up as an adolescent.
What kind of cities were you living in?
Lived in Izmir, Turkey. We lived in Frankfurt, Germany. We lived in Japan. I mean, we've pretty much bounced around, and the longest we would live somewhere was generally about 2 years. Most of the time it was less than that.
Do you have siblings?
I do. I have two younger brothers who, my youngest brother was born in Germany. So he actually had dual citizenship throughout most of his formative years.
And what was it like with the family as far as moving around all like that?
Well, it was interesting because so my dad ended up settling down in a small town in Mississippi called Ocean Springs. And the high school I went to, basically everybody almost there that I went to were born there and had been there the entire life. So they had known each other, had gone to school from first grade to 12th grade. Well, my experience growing up was much different. So we basically learned how to connect with people in a different way because, like I said, at best every 2 years we would be moving and meeting new people. So I think it kind of gave me a different, and gave my brothers as well, a different platform of conversating and just being interactive with people because we were consistently meeting new people, learning new cultures, things like that. So it was very interesting, and I think it served me well over the years.
Well, yeah, I know we've talked to a lot of our team members at Meldon Law who come from military backgrounds, and they have similar experiences. I guess the military generally moves you around every 2 or 3 years.
Yes. Yeah. When on active duty, generally speaking, you're generally every 2 years unless you re-up for that particular location. Then you have a possibility of remaining there. But I mean, my dad would go on TDY to San Antonio for 6 months, and we did that. And then it just Virginia, Maryland, wherever they wanted them.
So how did you wind up in Ocala, Florida?
So I went to law school in Jacksonville. I was practicing in Jacksonville, and I got a opportunity to work for a defense firm in Ocala doing trucking defense. So I moved to Ocala. I had no idea where Ocala was. I had no idea where Marion County was. Had no idea what to expect. So I moved down there. The day after I moved there, we got hit with a hurricane. So my first week there, we had no power, no water. So it was a very interesting introduction. Once I got down there, I absolutely loved it. Particularly, it was the whole time I was there, I was like, if I have a wife and kids, this is where I want to bring. I want them. And so,
were you married at the time?
I was not. I was single with no children. So I ended up going back to Jacksonville, and fortunately so, because I met my wife there. We got married almost 17 years ago, and we have three lovely, beautiful, brilliant children. And for me, it was almost a no-brainer. As soon as I got an opportunity to work in a law office in Marion County, I told my wife, I need to show you this. And literally the day I brought her to Marion County, she fell in love with it. We've been here ever since.
Yeah, so I've been in the community here since 1970, and I know Marion County well. From your perspective, what are some of the attributes of Marion County that made you and your wife fall in love with it?
Well, so my family is from Mississippi. Her family is from North Carolina. So we both are from smaller agricultural towns, although my wife's is kind of on the coast as well as mine. We're kind of small town people, and Marion County really had that homey small town feel. There's a lot of agriculture there. The horse farms are just magnificent. And this is stuff that we wanted it's stuff that I experienced as a young child, stuff my wife experienced. And that's what we wanted to provide that for our family. And we wanted the small town feel, the small town attitude, that for us, like I said, when my wife saw it, she loved it, and we've been happy ever since.
Have you had a chance to go out to the World Equestrian Center yet?
I have, actually. I was there, I guess it was 4 weeks ago. My daughter had my daughter, who's 13, does competitive cheerleading, and they had a cheerleading competition at the World Equestrian Center. Fabulous facility that they have out there. They have a lot of wonderful things. I think it's going to be a real boon for Marion County and the people of Ocala.
Well, it's been named the horse capital of the world for a long time. However, when World Equestrian Center came in, they could really claim the name legitimately, I think.
It's definitely taken it to a whole new level. I mean, the horses and the riders and trainers that they have out there are honestly second to none. It's magnificent to watch the jumpers out there practicing. It really is something special.
It's interesting because your daughter went out there for a cheerleading event, and for those of you that aren't familiar with the World Equestrian Center, they have lots of non-horse activities out there. Meldon Law is involved in sponsoring a lot of the different events they have out there because it's really fabric of the Marion County community now. And Alachua County, Marion County are both huge horse country. My daughter grew up doing hunter jumper, and
Okay.
so this is before WEC. This is 25 years ago or so. However, what an experience! We have beautiful rolling hills. We've got
Fabulous.
some of the nicest places for horses to live. I think their limestone is in the ground, and that helps. And there's a lot of reasons why this has become a horse capital. And the other big deal is up north in Kentucky, which is obviously the other big horse part of the United States, it gets really cold in the winter.
It does. Yes, it does. For sure.
And for horse people, they like to, they don't want to wear big, heavy jackets.
That's right.
Riding your horse. So, anyhow, we're excited about that. My experience in Marion County started shortly after I started practicing law, and I figured out pretty soon that I was living in Gainesville, but Marion County is like 40-minute drive from Gainesville, and if you're in a big city, to go 40 minutes from Jacksonville, from one side of Jacksonville, the other could take a lot longer than that.
Yes, it most certainly can. It is absolutely the traffic and just the pure mileage from one side of Jacksonville to the other. So I worked in downtown Jacksonville and lived in pretty much the most south excerpt of Jacksonville that you can have. And it was a steady 1 hour drive for me to get into work every day. So,
and it's a pain in the ass kind of drive.
It's miserable. And God forbid there's an accident, which that never happens, which obviously is good for us. But it is a nightmare drive, where as opposed to when you're coming. Well, I will tell you, just driving up for today's podcast. Driving up from Marion County to Alachua County. I mean, it's just, like you said, it's beautiful. Just rolling hills and horse farms, cow farms. It's fabulous. It's magnificent.
And it's an easy drive. You're not like bumper to bumper traffic.
No, it's so relaxing.
I usually take 441 because it's there's not a lot of traffic on it. It's really a pretty ride. You go through horse country. And then sometimes I'll take I-75 depending on where I'm leaving from, and stuff like that. By the way, we're here at Spurrier's Gridiron Grill. We always like to give them a shout out because they provide this awesome podcast room for us. And Spurrier's Gridiron Grill has been here in Gainesville for a little over 2 years now. And they actually built a podcast room into the restaurant. For those of you that haven't been here, it's a museum as well as a great restaurant. It's a fun atmosphere. There's always something going on here. Coach Spurrier comes here frequently, probably 3 or 4 times a week, and loves to interact with the guests out here. And it's really this is kind of where the hub now for Gators sports is. You can't hardly get a table on a football weekend here, so make your reservations early. Anyhow, that's our pitch for Spurs Gridiron Grill. It's right at I-75 and Archer Road, so it's easy to get to, and really this is an amazing restaurant.
Oh, it's fabulous. It absolutely is fabulous. They've done a magnificent job, and it's great food. I recommend it for anybody.
So anyhow, let's support our local businesses. You are now heading up the legal team at our Ocala office for Meldon Law. Let's talk a little bit about personal injury law and some of the things that we do to help our clients. Because you weren't here earlier. I mentioned my daughter was in a minor accident, a fender bender, like last Thursday. She was picking up the kids from school, and some woman was trying to get ahead of her, and she slammed into the back of her car. Luckily, nobody was injured, but it's like taken a whole 2 days out of my daughter's life to try to get her car fixed. And then she had rent-a-car insurance, but it was only $30 a day. So then she said, Dad, what's the deal with getting a car? Because I'm carpooling 3 kids, and sometimes they're friends, and I need a big SUV to move them around and stuff. when people are in an accident, it's really kind of throws their lives upside down.
It really does. Being in a car accident, until you've been in one, you really don't know what it actually does to your entire life. Most people think I was in a car accident, I get hurt, I need to see a doctor, and that's pretty much all that's involved. Unfortunately, that is just the tip of the iceberg, as you know, Jeffrey. Like you said, you're dealing with property damage, you're dealing with rental cars, you have to deal with trying to find medical providers, you have to deal with getting reimbursements for medication, and there are so many moving parts involved in this process that, I know that a lot of people, when they think about car accident, they think about personal injury attorneys, they kind of think of it with a little sly look in their eye, like, eh. But really, our job is to make our clients' life easier and to take that stress off their back, because and that's the other thing is, on top of everything, on top of all the inconvenience and the pain and the injuries, it's stress. There's so much stress. And our job that we try to do for our clients is take that stress.
Yeah, one of the things we've been working really hard on is to find the points where the process would slow down unnecessarily. So we hired Adam to help with property damage, because of all the things in a case, nothing aggravates people more than the fact that their car is in the shop. They don't have their car that meets their needs. They maybe get some rent-a-car that's not suitable. They're trying to get their car fixed. Then, God forbid, they have a loan on their car and their car is totaled, and their car is actually worth less than the amount of their loan. Mm-hmm. And they were sitting at a light and somebody slammed into them, and they go, wait a minute, I owe $4,200 out of my own pocket because some jerk wasn't paying attention and ran into me.
It is probably the most frustrating area of the process. So what we do is we try to help. The first thing we do is knowledge. We want to provide our clients knowledge in advance when it comes to these things. Unfortunately, we are kind of constrained on the back end when it gets to us with what we're able to do. So what we try to do is educate our clients and the general public. And the first thing that we recommend is getting proper coverage so that you have that protection. In the instance you're speaking of, Jeffrey, the thing that I always recommend, and I will tell you from a personal standpoint, I've had to use it for myself, is gap insurance. Gap insurance to me is a no-brainer.
Explain what gap insurance is.
So basically what gap insurance is if you owe, so especially if you buy a new car, everybody knows, as soon as you buy a new car, you lose money as soon as you drive off the lot. It's depreciated the minute you drive it off the lot. The running joke is, as soon as you drive a new car off, you've lost $10,000. What the gap insurance will do is it will help bridge the gap from what your purchase price was for that vehicle and what it's actually worth now that you have driven it off the lot.
Yeah, so it's common for folks, particularly since cars now, it's not unusual to have a car that's $50,000, $60,000, $70,000. So pickup trucks. Who knew that pickup trucks were going to become $70,000 vehicles, right?
Yes, trust me, my wife is not very happy about mine.
So it's easy, though. For a couple bucks a month, you get this gap insurance. And depending on the circumstance, your insurance agent will let you know about it. One of the things that I always tell people is go to your local insurance agent where you can sit down with a face, with somebody who's been doing this for 15, 20 years, and go through what kind of insurance you need and what kind of insurance you can afford. It's easy to say you need, all the bells and whistles. There should be priorities if you're on a limited budget. And I think, gap insurance, the other big thing is uninsured motorist coverage.
Oh, absolutely.
Let's explain to people a little bit about uninsured motorist coverage.
So this one is a particular bane of my existence because I cannot count how many clients I've had come in and tell me, oh, well, I have full coverage, I'm good to go. No, you're not. Full coverage is a misnomer. Full coverage means that you have what the state of Florida requires you to have. Unfortunately, what that does not include is uninsured motorist coverage, because what uninsured motorist coverage does is it protects you if you as a consumer are hit by someone else who either A, does not have insurance, or B, does not have sufficient insurance to compensate you for the damages that you've sustained in the accident. Your uninsured or underinsured motorist coverage will protect you. Again, will bridge that gap to help compensate you for what you've lost.
What's interesting is that the state of Florida is the only state that doesn't have either bodily injury liability required or uninsured motorists. I think 48 of the states have bodily injury requirement. The one state that doesn't is New Hampshire. However, they require uninsured motorist coverage. What bodily injury liability insurance means is it covers the other person, meaning if you are careless, if you make a mistake sometime and cause a crash and someone's injured, your liability insurance covers their out-of-pocket expenses that aren't covered by other insurance. It helps cover their medical bills that they may have that aren't covered by other insurance. And at the end of the case, if you have a long-term serious injury, your uninsured motorist coverage will help compensate you for what you would be entitled to if the other person had adequate insurance.
I agree, absolutely. And look, I know that, in today's market, in today's economy, times are tough, dollars are short, pennies are short. But it's about protecting yourself. And Jeffrey and I, we hope that you'll never need it. We hope that you never need this. But if you do, you need to make sure that you have it. You need to make sure that it's covered for you, that your family's covered. And unfortunately, once you've been in an accident, you can't run out and go get it. You have to have it.
Well, you can run out and go get it, but it'll cover the next accident, right. Not the accident you were in. And so the other thing that's really interesting is that Florida's actually this year considering changing the law and requiring bodily injury liability. It was passed out of the House and Senate about 3 years ago. However, the insurance industry was concerned because they were making so much money from PIP insurance, personal injury insurance. They go, oh, we're making $500 million on this insurance that doesn't really provide much coverage. So what PIP insurance does is it provides $10,000 worth of property damage to the other person if you were at fault. What you don't know is that the $10,000 limit was passed in 1973, 50 years ago, over 50 years ago, when $10,000 could actually buy a car.
Exactly.
And the idea was, $10,000, well, that, there's hardly any amount of damage that's not going to be covered by $10,000. Now that same car is $50 or $60 or $70,000, and you get a dent, and it's $10,000. And then if you don't have comprehensive or collision insurance, you're in. You may have to absorb the loss yourself. So anyway, I'm here with Neal Gambler, one of our great attorneys at Meldon Law, and we're talking about really how to protect yourself and your family. What's neat about uninsured motorist coverage is it protects you. It protects all the members of your family that live with you. It protects you if you're in someone else's vehicle. It protects you if you're riding a bike. It protects you if you're a pedestrian in an accident. The only thing it doesn't cover is motorcycles.
Correct.
So the other good message is if you are in a motorcycle, you are in a high-risk situation. If it's motorcycle versus car or truck, the motorcyclist loses
Every time.
Every time. And you have to buy separate insurance for your motorcycle, meaning that either you get a completely separate policy or you go to your insurance agent and you say, I want to add a separate item for coverage on my motorcycle. The insurance companies are very smart. They know that bodily injury liability or uninsured motorist coverage for a motorcycle is a risky proposition for them.
100.
So that's why they exclude it from cars. But for those of you that are on a motorcycle, look, a lot of my friends ride motorcycles all the time. They love it. They're, like the freedom and the, wind in their hair and everything else. So that's great. Just make sure that someone else's bonehead move won't wind up screwing up your family's finances and you in the hospital with, nobody to pay for the bills. So we're coming to an end to the show, Neal. I wanted to just kind of, first of all, welcome everybody from Marion County. Our office is right on 441, right in the heart of Marion County. Neal's there. We've got a really great team at Meldon Law. And the one thing I think you're starting to see is that every single day we're trying to do it a little better.
And that's what it's all about. It's, there is no perfect process. There's no perfect way to do every claim, every case has a life to itself. But what we do is we want to make the process as easy for our clients. We want to make it as comfortable for our clients, and the more that we can do and the better we can do it, and like Jeffrey said, it's an absolute process to improve every time. That's what we want to do for our clients.
Well, very well said, and I want to thank you for joining us today. This has been Jeffrey Meldon from Meldon Law, and Neal Gambler from Meldon Law. Neal's heading up our Ocala office. We're really excited. We got a great team down there, and Marion County and Alachua County are so close to each other that it's really like brother and sister kind of. They're different communities. One's a university community, the other's more agriculture and horse country. However, I'll tell you what's going on in Ocala and Marion County is just amazing.
It's a totally different town than when I first moved. The expansion and growth is just amazing to see. And we expect big things coming out of Marion County.
And there's jobs there for those of you that want to move to Marion County. It's a very affordable community. It's got jobs. The people that run the city really reach out to businesses to make the process easy. And we love Marion County. I know, you love living there, and it's really something that we work on hard. And I've been representing folks in Marion County for 50 years, and so I know what it's like. I've seen it grow, and it's a very special place. Anyhow, that's the end of Meldon Law and Friends today. Thank you, Neal Gambler, for joining us, and we'll see you next week for another episode. Okay, that was perfect.